we've got White Heather. You'll be too young, but there used to be a long-running television program called The White Heather Club, fronted by Andy Stewart. And it was real kind of tartan sort of pastiche, you know, it was dancing and singing and what have you. But of course, the White Heather is lucky. If you find a White Heather, it's rare, but you find it occasionally on the hills. Actually, they can grow it separately, but the idea behind it is that this is a rare, this is a blended Scotch whisky. And the brand is a long old standing brand, but it's been revived because the brand name was bought by Billy Walker, who really put Glendronach on the map, and now Glenallachie. He sold Glendronach to Brown-Forman, Jack Daniels, and then bought Glenallachie.
Yeah, White Heather was a very popular brand in the 50s, 60s, 70s, and the kind of iconic square kind of bottle. With very, I mean, it looks very dated branding now, but I remember even imagine at the time it probably looked a bit dated. I think it was
probably a DCL brand, a Distillers Company brand, but it's quite interesting because Billy is he's a hugely experienced blender. He's a chemist, he's a businessman, but he's a blender as well, and he's very keen on sherry casks. Both at Glendronach and now at Glenallachie, and you can see the colour of this, unless it's been heavily tinted, which it won't have been with spirit caramel.
I find a whiskey's colour can be, even if it's not had, you know, caramel E150 added to it. I've heard kind of vicious rumours of, you know, sherry casks being used which still have litres and litres of pure sherry left in the bottom. Chunk of whiskey in, it's really dark all of a sudden. So I'm very sceptical.
But in truth, you know, the any residual sherry left in the cask wouldn't make it. It would be far too little to add colour.
Sure, I suppose if it's a 500 litre sherry butt,
exactly,
you're going to need
a couple of litres in there. It wouldn't make any difference at all to the colour.
Absolutely,
but it might to the flavour, to the.
So this is a 15-year-old blend. So it'll be a combination
15 years old. Yeah.
It's not a blended malt, is it? Just a
blended Scotch. Yeah. So it's a mix of malt and grain, and he mentions including aged Glenallachie.
Yeah, I think it's kind of unusual these days to find a blended whiskey with an age statement on it at all. So to have one as old as 15, I think there's also a 21-year-old expression in the range as well, which you'd imagine would have even more depth.
This is the first one. I'm a great admirer of Billy Walker's work at Benriach, Glendronach, and at Glenallachie, I must say. So, but this is the first time I've tasted his blend. So this will be very, very interesting.
Yeah, let's give it a try. The strength is a reassuring 46%, which for a kind of a big sherried whiskey, whether it's a malt, whether it's a blend, whatever, I find it often needs a bit of oomph to it.
It's nose drying, so it's actually slightly tannic, which supports the idea that there's some European oak tannic.
Yeah, it's like oak furniture or something, all those sorts of aromas coming to me.
And I think with a little bit of imagination, I'm getting dried fruits or a very kind of dry Christmas cake.
Do you think on the nose you'd have been able to detect that it's a blend and not a single malt?
Good question. No, I don't think it could be either. It's blenders talk about the integrated flavour complex, where the flavours of the individual malts and grains are so tightly meshed together that really you're just, when you smell it, blended Scotch is more, it's evaluated more in the mouth than on the nose, unlike malt whiskey. And this is wonderfully integrated. You know, this flavour complex is so tightly.
I've heard the analogy that blended whiskies are like a symphony orchestra. There's all these different components, and if you really, really focus in, you can sometimes pick out, the string section or whatever. But sometimes you just need to stand back and appreciate it as a whole.
And if the blender wants you to hear the string section or taste a bit of smoke, then he will allow that she will allow it to come through.
Yeah.
They talk about gestalt.
Okay.
A good blend has gestalt, which means that it's more than the sum of its parts. It becomes a whole new thing.
Sure.
It's not just all the components, and that's the idea, to build the gestalt So you can't taste the individual
So I
components.
find blends, I've heard from various master blenders, distillers, whatever, that creating a blend or owning a brand of blended whiskey, keeping that consistency year after year, where the cask you get from the different distilleries, making it taste the same today as it tasted in the 1980s, whatever. It's in a way, creating a single cask, single malt is a piece of cake. For creating blends, that's where the real skill is. But yeah, no, it smells very appealing. Give us a try.
Delicious. Really, really nice. Sweet then dry. Slightly nutty aftertaste. A little bit of spice in the back of the throat. Nice viscosity.
Yeah, it'd be a good after dinner dram, paired with a chocolate pudding, whatever. It's got that body and that depth to hold up to.
It could do as such, but it's a really, really nice. Well, as you know, I'm a great fan of blended Scotch, but this is a particularly good example.
Yeah, no, it's nice to see a blended whiskey given kind of the respect and recognition to deserve good quality sherry casks, which I imagine a lot of time are held back for, the pinnacle of the range, of the single malt range, but to use such active casks, which are going to impart so much flavour, so much colour on, just a blend.
Good on them.
It is lovely.
It's and it's. I'm not having added a little bit of water. I'm getting chocolate on the nose.
Do you think the age statement of 15 helps it? Do you think if it was bottled at, maybe 6-7 years average, it would suffer?
I don't know. I think that it's probably the perfect age, and I mean, knowing Billy Walker's skills, the why 15, not 14, not 16 or whatever. And he'll be looking at the stock he has, of course.
Yes. Yeah.
And but the 15 seems to me to be it's a perfect age. I don't know what it would be like at 12. It wouldn't have the depth and richness. Johnny Walker Black is 12, and that's a lovely whiskey. And that's my kind of go-to whiskey. But this is slightly more special, actually.
Yeah, it's kind of maybe verging on decadent almost. It's got a lot of, feels like a special occasion whiskey, but with it being a blend with that grain element to it, it's still approachable.
In the tasting notes on the carton, they noted excuse have another
I've still got some. You go for it.
As a whiff of a thread of smoke. I certainly wasn't getting that first time round.
Yeah, I love thinking of Billy Walker when he was considering purchasing Glenallachie, just strolling through the warehouses, seeing what there was, seeing the age of it, seeing if the whiskey's any good, and then I can imagine the cogs in his brain thinking this would be great for a blend, this would be great for single cask, this would be great with who knows. Must be good fun buying a distillery with its existing stock.
Yeah. But he's a miracle worker because he's already turned Glenallachie around in terms of the brand. I mean, it's now doing extremely well, and it's very highly regarded. So he understands the stock that he's got and how to put it together in such a way to make it attractive, as he did with Glendronach.
Yeah, obviously Glendronach now is, held in a similar regard to Macallan in terms of big sherry bomb, but going back to the 70s, 80s, Glendronach wasn't known for being sherried, but he identified that the spirit was big enough, oily enough.
And the 18-year-old Glendronach Allardyce, named for the founder of the distillery, kind of get it. It's completely sold out.
Yeah.
It'll come back, but the entire stock is gone.
It's like drinking a chocolate cake.
Oh,
Glendronach 18
gorgeous,
is, it's beautiful.
Gorgeous.
I think trying this side by side with something like Glendronach 18
would be very interesting.
There would be similarities there in terms of Billy's cask management and his influence on it. But as blends go, I'd say this is
it's as good as it goes. It really is.
Yeah,
as good as it gets. That 15-year-old.
Yeah, as we said, White Heather. It's lucky, and we feel lucky to have tried it today. It's a lovely job. So one to revisit for sure.
Great. Well, thank you very much for introducing me to it.
You're very welcome.